Hello, in this session we are going to talk about how to configure a chart. So we selected from the controls menu bar in GraphWorx, we selected the TrendWorks viewer, we inserted the TrendWorks viewer. Now we are going to double click on it, and then we have the chart settings, which is the big area that you see now here on screen. So first of all, the parameters we have are about the background of the chart. If we want to have a specific background color, any color you like. If you want to check a different color for the plot area, for the border, and have some alternative settings. As far as the grid goes, we can select which type of lines and how many ticks are available for the different axes. So we can decide also which color we would like them to be. As far as the zoom area, when we are in runtime mode and we decide to freeze and zoom a specific area within the chart, within the plot, we can decide which color this area should be. And then if we want to enable some specific commands on some specific events that might happen, then we can decide to enable this and go ahead and configure whatever command we would like them to be executed. Now, as far as configuring the pens, we're not going to add the pens from here. There's going to be a separate session on this, but we would like to set the pen's global appearance. So what we would like to do in case we're not receiving the pen value correctly, we want to continue to plot it, or do we want to do something different, leave a gap or span over? The same for the bed quality, and then we can decide which is the maximum buffer size for each pen that we want to do. Show invalid pens, and many different settings over here as well. These settings, stroke and fill, are regarding the boxes that you see here on the bottom left corner on the chart, where you can see the border is blue, thick, and then the inside the color, the fill color, is blue. So you can decide whatever color you like them to be as well. Runtime pen settings, you want them to be defaulted by specific direct connections, and then decide to default the pen axis with 3 ticks, 3 major ticks and 3 minor ticks. Once we configure the global pens visualization, we have to configure the data. So how often is my chart going to be refreshed? At interval, each second, or anytime we reach out to a certain number of samples automatically. And then the time settings, should we edit them from the x-axis, or do we want to use UTC timestamps? And then this is particularly convenient to align different time zones when we have to transport our application between different areas in the world. Here, when we select in runtime mode the ability to export data, we can configure what to export and where to export it. As far as the ranges goes, it's pretty similar as well. We decide which is the time range that we're looking at right now. Now it's 3 minutes, but it can be set by default at anything. This range will then be modified in runtime if you would like. We can have the trend period toolbar enabled, so that will allow us to make those changes much easily. And in real-time mode, the animation speed, so the frequency that we currently visualize and update the line. And in case of a parameter, a plot, a pen to be historical, then we can decide how often we are going to read from the historical database in order to show the plot. When we go directly in runtime mode, we need to identify if we would like to start the display, the chart to be frozen, or to read a range from a specific setting, or write it to a place where all the other charts will then be synchronized with it. X-axis, extremely simple. We would like to display time only, or date and time and date, and so on. Which format do we want for the date? Which format do we want for the time? Is there a specific separator character that we would like to set? Otherwise, the operating system default one will be used. A number of ticks, maximum 3 ticks, minimum 0. And then if we want to have a specific time alignment, in this case, we want to start from time 0. Y-axis, quite simple over here. We can decide if we have a zoom ruler, and we can have shared value axis between different lines, but the most interesting setting is this, visible ranges. Now, if you look at the chart here on the left hand side, I have only one range visible, 0, 50, 100. And if I select 2, now we have 2 ranges because we have 2 signals, 2 pens with actually quite a different range. Then we can have cursors, which are the vertical bars that we can see in runtime mode, and we can configure them graphically, visually. We can enable 1 cursor or 2 cursors, and then assign different tooltip visibility. Then we can set the summary area. The summary area is an area that in runtime appears at the bottom of the chart when you decide to freeze it. That will allow you to move back and forth within time, so that you can move much faster and much quickly within the plot area. And here you can set up all the different properties for this area. The legend is the object that we currently see right here at the bottom of the chart, where we have the 2 pens. Is made out of different columns, so we can decide which position we want it, which size we want it, font, colors, and so on. And then we can also decide which columns do we want to see when we display this legend. Last but not least, you can also set up some very advanced properties for this chart, changing them as much as you like. So this concludes this session regarding the chart settings.